Hi, my name's Adam. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us today on Canada Day. So July 1st, 2021, happy 154th birthday or anniversary to Canada. So thanks for joining us today. And we're going to actually cover off 5 reasons why retiring in Canada is a great option. And I know I talked to so many of you, and it's too expensive here in Canada, and I understand that. But I want to highlight 5 areas where Canada makes so much sense to retire, why you should look to retire in Canada. And a lot of you that watch these videos are in other countries. I think there's about 40 countries that watch our videos. So if you're in another country watching this, thinking about retiring in Canada, maybe this video will help you as well. If you're already in Canada, which is a majority of you, maybe it'll give you some insight and some encouragement to stay in Canada for retirement and why it might make sense for you. The very first reason why I think Canada is a great option in retirement is the healthcare system. So we have a universal healthcare system in Canada. It's phenomenal. Some people say, our taxes pay for it, but I'll get to that in a second because our taxes are actually fairly good compared to other countries. But we have a phenomenal healthcare system in Canada. If you have a healthcare issue, 99% of the time you're going to get taken care of for free from your family doctor, hospital, whatever it is. So we do have a great healthcare system. Again, there's always a few of you that will be watching this, or you'll know someone that's had a terrible experience. Obviously that happens. That's going to happen in any country. But in general, we have a great healthcare system here in Canada, and it's covered in our taxes. So, not a lot of you have extended health coverage in retirement. Provincial benefits like, say, Fair Pharmacare in BC will help offset some of your medical expenses that you might incur otherwise. So a lot of you, what we see with our clients in retirement is healthcare costs are way, way less than expected. Again, there's going to be those outliers, but in general terms, people spend less. And programs like Fair Pharmacare in BC, and every provincial or every province has their own provincial healthcare program or subsidy program. So check into that. Whatever province you're in, check into what those subsidies are in your province. But every province has something to kind of help. If you hit a certain limit of spending on healthcare, they're going to jump in and help cover the majority of the cost beyond that. The second reason to retire in Canada is lower taxes. And you might say, Adam, there's no way it's lower taxes in Canada, but it actually is. So if you live in Canada, I've grabbed both BC and Ontario, which is most of our viewers live. I know Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario. Otherwise, in Canada, there's other provinces and territories that you're watching from. I get that. But I've grabbed BC and Ontario as an example. If you want to check your province compared to the US, a certain state down there, just jump online, grab an income tax calculator to run that. But in BC, we looked at a retired couple that make $80,000 combined a year. So $40,000 each of income. How much tax they would pay here versus in the States. Okay, so in BC, your average tax rate would be 13.71%. And in Ontario, it's a little bit higher at 14.85%. Okay, so 13 to 14% up here in Canada. And again, this is for family income of $80,000 in retirement, which is maybe a bit on the high end, depends where you live. For some of our clients, it's on the low end. So everyone's a bit different, but we grabbed that number. Now comparing it to the States. Now we ran California, Arizona, and Florida because those are kind of the 3 main states that you're going to retire to if you were going to head down there because of the warmth and all that kind of stuff. So California, you would pay on the same amount of income, family income. Their taxes work a bit differently. You'd have an average tax rate of 17.78%, so almost 18% in California. Arizona is 17.24%, and Florida is 15.44%. So all 3 states have higher taxes than we do here in BC and Ontario, and it will be like that right across Canada. So Canada actually has, fairly low tax rates when we compare it to the US. Now, if you're thinking about jumping ship and going over, to wherever, down to Panama, Nicaragua, I've been traveling to, there's some places that would be wonderful to retire to. And I get it, tax rates, Philippines, tax rates will be lower there. There's tons of countries where tax rates will be lower, but the majority of you I talk to, you're talking about maybe moving to the States for retirement. So I want to compare Canada to the US, and a lot of people think that Canada has very high tax rates compared to the US, and this shows we're actually lower than the US. So something to consider if you're thinking about jumping ship down to the States. The third reason to retire in Canada is our infrastructure and technology. So if we compare it to the US, obviously we're kind of right on par with them as far as access to, internet, cell phones, all that kind of stuff. But when compared to many other countries around the world, we're definitely near the top of that list. So the ability to, have access to internet anywhere you go. So you can travel right throughout Canada, and you can jump on a cell phone or hop on your computer, check the internet, do the things you need to do in and out, whether it's your daily banking, checking emails, whatever it is, you're able to communicate with the outside world almost anywhere in Canada. So that's a huge advantage. And our infrastructure in Canada is only expanding and becoming better. Like TELUS right now is launching 5G across Canada. So stuff like that's going to even enhance what we currently have, which is already at the top of the list. So if you're looking to live in a country where you still have access to internet, to cell phones in most places. Now, some of you want none of that. I get that. So if you're not wanting any cell phone coverage, internet, maybe you want to head elsewhere and not be in Canada. But if you're looking, to communicate with family, friends, have that access, Canada is a great place and it's only enhancing. The fourth reason to retire in Canada is considered one of the freest worlds or freest countries in the world. And, a lot of us won't agree with that right now because we've been locked in our house for the last, year and a half because of COVID. Keep in mind that most countries were like that. But in general, take COVID away from this. We live in a very free world, a free country, where we have a lot of ability to do what we want. We have free speech, all that kind of stuff. So, you don't have to look too much further than, say, China right now, what they're going through. One of their biggest newspapers just got shut down a few weeks ago. So, there's always political issues. I get that. But as far as free speech and all that, we live in a really good country for that. So if that's important to you, always keep that in mind. Fleeing to places like, say, the Philippines or some of these other countries, you may have to be careful what you do, what you say, all that kind of stuff. So just be aware, if you're fleeing Canada, you might not have the same freedoms that you have here in Canada. So be very aware of that. And the fifth reason is more personal, but we have the national parks, the scenery, just living in Canada. Just look around, look outside. As I record this, it's a little early in the morning, but it's supposed to be like 35 degrees here in BC today. So, I look outside, it's clear skies, I see the mountains. We live in a beautiful country. We have great national parks. You can travel right across the country on Highway 1. So you can see a lot, and every province carries its own uniqueness to it. So I used to live in Saskatchewan. Obviously now I live in BC. Very different. The landscapes are very different, but they have their unique characteristics to them, and they're just very cool to travel to see. So a lot of us, when we hit retirement, and even before retirement, the whole concept is let's travel. Let's get out of Canada. Let's go down to the States, overseas. Let's travel. But so many of you haven't even traveled within Canada. And, COVID gave a good chance for that. I know a lot of you have done more traveling within Canada. Because of COVID, you couldn't get out of Canada. But when you hit retirement, take some time to travel across Canada. We live in a beautiful, beautiful country. People come from all over the world to Canada because of our beauty. Yet when we're here, I think we kind of look past it and we become so numb and used to it. So, take a step back and realize where we live, how beautiful it is. And that can be a huge part of your retirement plan. So it's also a way, if you want to travel in retirement, it's a way to keep costs a little bit lower. Instead of having to go down to the States, sometimes staying in your own country, driving across the country, is a great way to do it, can keep the costs a bit lower. And again, we have such beauty here. So make sure to check out all of Canada. That's on my bucket list, definitely. As I get closer to retirement here, my wife and I want to travel across Canada and see, all the beauty that is here. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, make sure to do that. Check out national parks like Banff and Jasper in Alberta. Come up to BC. Head out east to Nova Scotia, PEI. We live in a beautiful country, so make sure to check that out. So there's my 5 reasons to retire in Canada. A little bit of a different video today because it's Canada Day. Again, if you're planning to keep your Canadian residency, but travel outside of Canada in retirement or even before retirement, but let's focus on retirement here. Make sure you understand the limits, how long you can be gone for in a year, over multiple years. Make sure you don't run into tax issues because you're leaving the country for too long. So, every country is a little bit different, where you're going, travel, all that kind of stuff, how long you have to be back in Canada for. Like 30 days is usually how long you have to be here for the clock to reset. There's a bunch of rules behind that. So make sure you do some digging. We will do a video in the future about this and kind of how to plan for leaving Canada for, say half the year. But if you're doing that already, just make sure that you know what your limits are. Don't fall outside that, because it can be very costly on the tax perspective. So anyway, enjoy your Canada Day. Thanks for joining us in this video today. We'll see you in the next one.